You're gonna see REC. Okay.
Brothers and sisters, Wado means welcome. Welcome to our wonderful, beautiful museum here today, right off the Cherokee Path. We are very humble people, very special people. Our prayer circle
Be careful, hon.
is called the Southeastern Indigenous Prayer Circle. We've been to numerous sites, over 50 sites in South Carolina, and some additional teachings from the elders from Asheville. So we have been on a wonderful missions path. And we are very active. This is going to be a very busy year. I'm going to start out with our secretary, Ms. Jerusalem C. Hoy, to introduce, and we're going to introduce ourselves, and then I'll follow up.
Okay, let's see. This is great, so let's start. Let's go this way. Then I'm Melinda Hartwoman Barnett.
Randy Longbow Eisenhart.
Diana Spirit Wind.
Roy Pathfinder.
Yes.
Whatever other words. Vandergrift.
I'm Bill Barnett. Also, my Indian name is Silverhawk, and I've been with this group since we started, and we've done a lot of things, a lot of work, and glad to see a lot of people here. Thank you.
I'm Donna Rinkerson.
Chris Rinkerson.
I'm Linda Rinkerson. I am Leisha Huffstetler.
Dean Hunt.
Terry Gladfelter. Sandra Warren Mitchell.
This is Teresa Perry. I'm Dorothy Perry. Teresa Mitchell.
Pamela Hanson.
John Jameson.
Ray Slide.
I'm Leo Redmond, Director of the Museum.
Tom Howell.
Oh yes, Franklin.
David Breaker.
Tony Osborne.
Amber Miller.
Jonathan Spirit Hawk.
Well, welcome everybody. I'm so glad to see all the new faces today. We're going to have a nice meeting and a lunch afterwards, so you plan to stay, and I will turn it over to Iron Horse.
Well,
Wait, you two didn't introduce yourselves.
He introduced me.
oh, I'm Michael Iron Horse, descendant of the Cherokee people of South Carolina, and we are all one spiritually. We don't have any chiefs, we're not a tribe, we're just all carry our prayers to the land for the people in honor of Lord Jesus Christ and our ancestors. And we've got many wonderful things, and we've got a path that we have been on. I know we are on a very tight time schedule because there's another group meeting at 1. I would like to go ahead and start out with, as of the first part of this new year coming, we
Meeting over here.
have been doing our prayer gatherings for around 5 years. We have been to many different places, and we've been guided in all the way from all the trails. We have the Cherokee Path. We have been all over the Cherokee Path, many different places doing blessings and for where places our ancestors lived and died, and some is still buried. We have 3 paths. We have the Cherokee Path, the Occaneechi Path off of number 1, and we're going to be working, we've already did one blessing for the Path of 96 that Brother Dean and his team will be talking about shortly. We have been on many different missions. We have been, again, from the Treehouse site all the way from the Saluda River, many down off the Cherokee Path here, down by the Cherokee River, Cherokee Path site down in Riverland Park, which we call now Battlefield Connection site. And we'll still do many blessings and prayers to give thanks to the Creator. There'll be many feathers gifted today. We'll be turkey feathers, dove feathers, which represents peace. We'll have some things for our veterans, and I call out veterans. we'll have special things to them. Also, we have some hawk feathers for the very chosen few today, because the hawk and the eagle are our parents. Okay, let me educate you on this. The eagle and the hawks, we do not pray or worship them. What we do is when we're doing our prayers, if we see a hawk or eagle, they are carrying our prayers to the heavens, because they are sacred animals. With the animal, many different animals we always represent and give thanks for. But we do not worship animals. We give thanks for them, and we give things in their honor. So the hawk feather is very special. I know myself and many of us here has been having many eagles following our path and leading us on the path. That is a good sign. If you see a hawk and an eagle quite frequently, keep your eyes open, because when you leave here today, you'll see more hawks than you ever have, and possibly even eagles. This is a good sign that the path that we all are on is a wonderful, spiritual, godly path. So we have many different things to be blessed and talk about. Like I said, Miss Regina, after Brother Dean Hunt speaks, they should be here, and then we'll follow up with the second part of the ceremony. I am very honored you all are here. You don't have to be a Native American to be part of our prayer circle. You don't have to make every prayer meeting, but we do know that every prayer counts. So if you want to know more about our organization, we've got some writings and some articles that you can pick up on the front table as you as you get ready to leave. We've got some gifts over there with we've got some calendars and some little write books that's gifted. We've got a gift basket here for our guests, leaders. When we get ready to do the gifting ceremony, you can just come up and pick something out the gift basket that you feel you would like. And to let you all know again how much I appreciate you all being here today. There's a lot of things, you can take pictures. We are a historical organization.
Well, not here today. We rediscovered an area in Aiken called the Indian Head. And we did a little research and found out that this was a watering place during the colonial times on the old 96 road, which was an old Indian trail. And the British and American forces traveled this route. And there's writings to prove this by General Andrew Pickens and two British commanders, Lord Rawdon, I believe you pronounce it, Rawdon, and Colonel Kruger mentioned traveling the road, passing the Indian Head. So we got interested in doing this, and we did a lot of research, and all of us did research. Pamela's here today. She found some information this week that's been very astonishing in our favor. But then we went a little further and said it'd be nice if we could get a historical marker up, honoring the Indian Head and also the old 96 road, which was known, I think it's 4 names: the Wagon Road, the road to Long Canes, from Long Canes to Charleston, the Middle Road. And it really actually what it was a turnoff from the Great Wagon Road that came down through from Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. The 1770 statute at large mentioned that the order was given to widen the Indian Trail from Orangeburg to Long Canes in the 96 area to accommodate carts and wagons. So people on the Great Wagon Road, that road was already widened. The King widened that. He sent 100 men down to develop a road to travel down the coastline here. So that was widened, and it went on into Augusta. So there's some smart people here that said, we need to widen the trail so they can get off and settle in our area. So that's what happened. But we've been very successful. We've had some generous people put up a historical marker, approved historical marker. It cost $2,190. We're within $490 of that now. So we've been very successful in raising the money. This marker will be recognized by the state of South Carolina, and anyone in the world that will key up, search for historical markers, Aiken County will be able to see this marker. Unlike some that put up the private marker, they don't have to prove anything. They just put it up, the private marker companies, they after the dollar, so they just put anything on there. But the state of South Carolina is going to review what we've written up, and they will approve it or disapprove it. But we've been kind of told that we've really been told it's going to be approved. We got evidence to show that. But one other thing, and Dean will get into some more of this too, but then we thought, you folks, I've known Mike a few years, he spoke at one of my reunions at Fort Jackson a few years ago. But I called him and we discussed some things. But then, after that, I thought, well, Dean and I got together and said, you know, those folks here have to meet somewhere and they meet several times a year. Why not let one of the meeting places take place down in Paris, South Carolina, 3 miles from the Indian Head? You could do your regular business meeting, start with, and then say the next hour, it could be the Indian Head Festival. And towns around there like Sally, they have the Chitlin Strut, Wagner has Wagner and Wagner. And the town makes a lot of money. I'm a well-known historian, specialized in the Civil War and Revolutionary War, but he has a general knowledge of the South Carolina history. And he will take over now, but Dean, you need to mention David Brinkley. David Brinkman, I call it David Brinkley from the old David Brinkley. But please think about this. Let's get the festival going down there. Look at it 2 ways. Your meeting place and then open the door to a true Indian Head Festival. And you know, there's money to be made for the town, recognition for your group. And like Al said, there's not enough markers in that area. I can't name one. There's one. But anyway, Dean Hunt.
All right, thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right, you almost stole my thunder, but I'll be all right. I'm going to tell you my story relates to this phenomenon called the Indian Head. When I think of the Indian Head, man, that sounds kind of romantic. That sounds cool. That sounds awesome, man. Where's the Indian Head at? Let me check this out. And a few months ago, there was some information that kept popping up in the paper and all over the about the Indian Head in southern Lexington County at a place called Big Pond Branch, right at Highway 3 and 178 behind Pools Mill. And I kept hearing all this stuff on the internet. Indian Head, great ancient Indian place, meeting place and all this and that. And I thought, well, I'm born and raised in Lexington County. I'm a trained historian, have degrees in history from USC, but I'm just I was in the Air Force. I'm just inquisitive. I've never heard of the Indian Head. And I know this county like the back of my hand. So I started doing research. Couldn't find an Indian Head at Lexington County. Couldn't find an Indian Head at Big Pond Branch. Nobody knew the Indian Head. So I started challenging it and was verbally attacked by the landowner. And still being attacked. So I stumbled upon a lady, a genealogist from Orangeburg, Margaret G. Waters. She has a great website. And she has a website called Where Was the Indian Head? And she says, according to her research, it's located about a mile or 2 east of the town of Perry, South Carolina, between the forks of the North and South Edisto River. Little tiny town, about what, 280 people? Something like that, nice little Mayberry town, cute town.
The dogs.
Without the dog. And I started researching. And I started Googling the Indian Head and using different phrases of the Indian Head. And I started finding, as an educator, I like primary source documents. I like first-hand accounts, diaries, letters, journals. And I found the first account of the Indian Head written in the year 1765. And it was a gentleman by the name of Thomas Griffiths, an Englishman living in Charleston who had connections with the Indians. And he had a benefactor in England, Josiah Wedgwood, a famous English potter. You ever heard of Wedgwood pottery? That's the man. And he contacted Thomas Griffiths of Charleston to go west to the Cherokee Nation to find fine English clay, primarily long canes, modern day Edgefield County. And Thomas Griffiths set out from Charleston in September of 1765. And he left a journal, a diary, and it's online. And he just gives you an account of his travels. And he travels west to the town of Orangeburg in 1765, and he says it's a happening place. has hotels, taverns, bars. He said there's even a guy there that pretended to preach. I just love that. A lot of these itinerant preachers, they talk about preachers preach the backcountry, not really preaching too good. But that was a quote from his journal. And Thomas Griffith wrote that he heads west on the Middle Road, which is modern road 389, to the town of Perry, which was not there back then. It was all wilderness then. And he's heading west to Long Canes. And apparently in 1765 from Orangeburg to Long Canes, the only landmark, the only landmark is a place called the Indian Head. And he stays at the Indian Head. And when you look at it, to me, it's a spring. It's a series of 5 springs. It's a watering hole. And Thomas Griffith wrote in his diary that he camped there only days prior. 5 South Carolinians were murdered. And he writes they were murdered by Virginia crackers. So he said that the area between the forks of the Edisto there's a lot of bandits, banditti, a lot of thieves. And settlers are moving west on that wagon road. They're opening up settlement west at Long Canes. And he eventually makes it to the ridge. And Reverend Al Brody said, well, I've written 3 books, the history of the Brody family, the history of Kitchen's Mill. I'm thinking, man, those names are between the forks of the Edisto. I said, where are you from? He said, I'm from Perry. I thought I was going to drown. And I said, have you ever heard of some place called the Indian Head? He looked at me like, yeah, that's just down the mile from my house. I was born and raised in this house. I thought I was in heaven. I jumped out of the jacuzzi, got dressed, went to was with me when he said that. And he said that his family just never felt like they wanted to touch that area, their land again. And they don't plow it anymore. So it's 20, 30-year-old trees, pine trees growing there. But I love that he said that a lot of Native American artifacts came out of that mound. So to me, it's a sacred site. If there's a mound, there's a village. It's a massacre site, if that oral history is true. There was a Native American rebellion, uprising, freedom movement.
Was it ever used to provide clay to the Wedgwood pottery?
No, that's further west. That's in Edgefield. It's further west. And it's a colonial watering hole. And it's a site of a British camp evacuating. And so John came up with some more ideas about raising money for this marker. And gosh, within 2 weeks, we've raised $1,300. Couldn't believe it. Reverend Al Brody is our biggest benefactor. He wrote a nice check for us. And Pamela here is all the way from Long Island, New York City. She's visiting this weekend, visiting relatives. And she gave me a nice little check yesterday. So I appreciate it, Pamela. Appreciate it.
Who do you make the checks out to?
It's Wells Fargo, and it's under my name, Dean Hunt, and you can just put Indian Head. And I've got an Indian Head savings account, and we need $2,200 for the marker.
$21.90.
$21.90.
We're within $490.
Within 2 weeks.
Great.
Yeah. What we want to do is,
Take cash.
yeah, take cash. Took cash yesterday, put it right in the bank account. The site is controversial. The landowner at Big Pond Branch claims the Indian Head is at his land. Very vocal. And he's got a private marker up claiming the Indian Head is there. And it's not.
Mr. Looney Tunes.
And we want to put a marker up and put it at Perry. Yes, ma'am.
Where I know there's a Big Pond Branch Historical Research Society, is that connected with the resistance for the real?
That's it. And I don't want to get into any negativity here or anything like that.
I just figured, I didn't know if that was connected
Yeah,
with.
we can get into a sideboard conversation later for 10 hours. But I've proven, and John Howell's proven, and Pamela's proven, and Al Brody's proven the Indian Head's at Perry, east of Perry. And I just feel like it's a lost site, lost history site. The landowners, I talked to them a few days ago, and I told them about the marker, they're thrilled. And they have invited this organization to come out in the spring to have a big gathering there on their land, in their cornfields. To have a blessing of the land, and a gathering, and I think it's gonna be a great event. I've talked to the archives, go ahead, John, go ahead.
I just wanted to add that it's important to know that the private marker that the society put up down there mentioned, it's not a marker for Indian Head, it mentions Indian Head, the church marker, and also a meeting house marker. They put up a private marker that the South Carolina Archives will not accept. And they checked with the South Carolina Archives and found out that the archives has a researcher. When you apply for a marker, whatever you want to put on there, they research it out. And if they can prove what you're saying is true, they'll okay the marker. Well, the statement was, we checked with the South Carolina Archives about the marker, but it did not meet the church's needs, which meant it wouldn't get approved. So now they got a private marker up, the private marker put anything on there as long as you pay them. So that's the difference. Now, I hear that they're applying to put a marker up there, but they have no proof. They can, the proof they're submitting for their marker is our proof that's at the Perry area.
But doesn't the archives have to approve, do they, we, so to speak, write the text for the sign?
We can write the text, and they edit it, and they have the final say for the wording on it. And,
well, for instance, the way the Indian Head name came about, they said, you can put there, handed down lore says that.
Decide on a boundary, a physical, geographical
the
boundary.
only way I can answer you is, we have a plat, the Richard Davis plat from 1767, and the plat is the boundary of the Indian Head. It's 5 springs, and then you have the Colonial Road stopping by the springs, and there's a pullover for wagons on the hand-drawn plat. And then the springs turn into Goodland Creek, and the Goodland Swamp is on both sides of the creek, and it meanders about 10 miles southeast from the Indian Head, and it empties into the South Edisto River at Dean Swamp and Sally and Springfield.
So this plat, modern day landowners are in agreement with you? on
Oh,
this?
yeah.
So you have everybody on your side going through this?
100%.
The Indian Head was where the water came out of the ground.
Is the head of spring.
That's the way you would describe it. I think we had a good land swamp.
And we can show you the plaques after the meeting, and when we eat, I can show you all the stuff we have. It's really fascinating, it's really neat to look, especially the evidence that Pamela found yesterday with just the stuff describing the Indian Head.
We had that Richard Davis plat was the only plat that was approved for a long time. But what happened is yesterday, we found more plats that mention other plats and the Richard Davis land. And it's at Goodland Swamp, mentions the wagon road in between the forks. It just is where it is. It's the truth. When it's true, it's, you know.
In addition, about a mile west of the Indian Head, there's a DAR marker, a massive, huge DAR marker on the road. Who's that guy? Johnson?
Jeremiah Johnson.
Jeremiah Johnson. Jeremiah Jones is a DA marker about a mile from Indian Head. Jeremiah Jones.
Something else interesting too, going by what Pam discovered. I find out now that my Johnson family owned that 100 acres of land that Richard Davis owned at the Indian Head. Just found that in 1837. So my Johnson family wound up with that 100 acres in 1837.
And then Jeremiah Jones, he's kind of like, to me, like the mini swamp fox of that area of Twin Forks. There's a lot about him. He's buried right there. There's a cemetery right behind that DAR marker that called Sawyerville. And so that's another aspect. And the DAR marker says along the old Indian path. So there's more evidence right there. Yes, sir, Leo.
In reference to where the marker is a historical marker, not a site marker exactly. I mean, you don't probably know as much about it as I do, and more probably. But they usually put them as close to the site as they possibly can, where the most people in traffic can see it. You notice the Congaree Creek marker, where is it? Out here on Charleston Highway, about 2 miles from where the site actually is. It's very, very confusing. People park there, in fact, people walk off in the woods and they have the site of the thing. So that's what this will be. This will be very close to the site.
One more question, I don't want to bog you down.
No, go ahead.
You know, in terms of protecting the site, it's important to have some kind of, we're just stuck on this property boundary culture. It's important to have that designated in a definable way, and then have some measure of protection for it. If it's private land, 20 years from now, it could be sold and housing development comes in.
Yeah,
You have to have something in place to protect.
I spoke with the landowners, the Yawns, and yes, they would like it in the driveway, but it's a dangerous road, logging road. There's 18-wheel rigs full, it's just a it's a little bit of a corner, and there's ditches on each side, and there's swampy areas and old growth trees. It's very dangerous. You couldn't even pull off unless you pull in the driveways of people's homes.
Can be installed on the highway land, highway department.
Well, I'm not thinking as much about the markers, I am
There is a,
Bound
750
to-
yards away is Kent's Corner, which is a convenience store, modern convenience store, well lit up. It's an intersection of a number of main roads. I would like for it to go there. It's lit up, there's cameras from the store going out to the marker. Somebody hits it, DUI, bam, got them on tape.
The ideal thing would be to, the land area, whoever owns that, the ideal thing might be for them to donate it to some nonprofit that would represent, this group and others
Well,
interested.
that's a good question. The Aiken County Historical Society, we needed a sponsor to put the name. Markers have sponsors under them. If you look at an authentic marker, it will have sponsored by the group. And the private marker at Big Pond Branch does not have that. You don't know who put it up.
Individuals cannot get a state approved marker.
So the Aiken County Historical Society has said that we can use their name at the bottom of the marker.
Right.
So, yeah.
But in and I don't
No, go ahead, John.
beat this horse, but in terms of long-term protection,
Yes.
you've got to have something designated and maybe a state historical designation of some kind, or national monument, or whatever, the process is, National Historic Site.
In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, our Savior, in the name of our great Creator of all living things, and we gift the land. We will be part of a ceremony today from Pastor Regina Dancing Eagle and Brother Rudy Red Eagle, which is, I always have considered him to be one of our historical prayer leaders, and we honor them with their prayers. Our prayer circle is, we've got some Creek, some Cherokee. If you can get the Creek and Cherokee back together in this day and time, because we used to be at war many years ago, it is a mission from God. We got Chickasaw, Choctaw, and we have many other tribal people, including our wonderful Miss Regina, who is Alaskan, people with the Alaskan people, and is blessed to have her as a missionary to come in and lead us in prayer at the side. I wanted to give the first feather to Brother T. Brother. Come here, this is hawk feather, and the hawk, like you said, he'll tell you later a story that he knows about the hawk. The red bead represents the blood of our warriors, that's past and present. We're even fighting for our freedom today. The black is the lives our warriors had died for. The white is what we're all about, is peace, to bring peace upon the land in God's way. And also I have another feather for you, brother.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir. And would you find one of those gifts is his, this is yours. Would you look in there and get you a gift out of there? One of them's yours. And you can go pick you up a gift in the gifting thing right here. And okay. Also, would you present him with a feather? Who's our veterans here? Okay. Did you get a red, white, and blue bead? Okay, well, you got one right here. Those are turkey feathers. We honor our turkeys. And also the morning dove feather that represents peace. And the turkey feathers represents our turkey societies and our turkey dances that we used to do. And here is also a warrior peace feather. There's also a warrior peace feather, the same color beads. There's also a hawk feather, which represents our warrior society. Our hawk feather. And you, brother. We are giving out gifts today with presents, and these are our traditional gifts. They are Miss Regina, is she here?
She's around now.
Okay. I know. Here's, this is Miss Virginia Dancenigo, who's going to be gifting us in a wonderful prayer gathering that in just a few minutes will be headed out. This is a gift that was given to me by one of our church members at Visit Your Homeland.
Oh, praise God.
And this is a gift here from our prayer circle.
Thank you.
And God bless you, and we appreciate your prayer. Okay, there will be a naming ceremony. And so, and Mr. Vandergrift, I forgot this. Last time we did your naming ceremony, I forgot this in the car. That actually was found, the shell was found right off Clouds Creek. When I did a blessing down, me and one of the pastors took a boat ride, and I figured I'd stop by Clouds Creek and do a blessing. And I found that for you, brother. Talk with any of our historians about the history and things that we're getting involved in. Any of the family members, if you'll pass it around and grab you a gift out of there, your choice, and pass it around. And I see Joe Snowball Penner didn't make it today.
I might see him on Thursday.
Would y'all get a prayer cross and pass it around, and we'll pass them around through the room here. Okay. Well, I hope we got enough prayer crosses here for everyone, and I'm hoping I did have enough gifts for everyone. I want to thank each and every one of you. Before we head out, I want to let you know that if you want to learn more about our prayer circles, we've got some articles that's been written on the table out there. Feel free to get you some of them. We've done many things, including a crossing over with the Synod Sitting Bull several months ago. So we do many different gatherings and prayers. Over there is many calendars. Y'all pick y'all out a calendar. I want everybody to get some kind of gift when we leave. When we go to the land, we gift the land with gifts, prayers. You'll see today, we do not take from the land. We have respect for archaeological digs, but we like to go in after they dig and do a blessing so we can get the land back balanced. We respect our archaeological people. We do, because without you all learning of our ancestors, and I know you all don't dig on our burial sites anymore, and that's very respectful, but we still love to come in to the sites and do our blessings, to healing the land with prayers. Again, if anybody, I think we've given all our and gifts out. If anybody don't have one before we leave today, you've got some extra feathers, feel free to take them home to your family. On the table there, I've got some gifts for the little children. There's some bracelets, also some little rings and stuff that I got from our church to give the children. You can bring home.